And, I mean, Ireland's not that big of an island. You know what I'm saying? You can find them somewhere.
It's an island. I'm from an island. Come on.
Niall, set that up, please. No, I'm just joking. Because I think the people need that.
He and I did talk, and he said he was going to put me on the right track. So, I mean, I'm not holding my breath, man. I know that you're a famous boy band, dude, but you're also a really cool person and have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen on a man.
Bonjour et bienvenue à la Louisiane, our new video podcast and flagship program 100% dedicated to Louisiana culture and our heritage French language. I'm Will McGrew, your host from Télé-Louisiane, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Over the past 7 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing hundreds of Louisianans, Cajuns, Creoles, Native Americans, and more to preserve and promote our culture and our heritage dialects of Louisiana French and Louisiana Creole. From this work, it's clear to us that our people want our endangered language and culture not only to survive, but to thrive for generations to come. We aim to play our own small role in this fight by interviewing the native speakers of our heritage language and the leading practitioners of our culture: chefs, musicians, alligator hunters, Mardi Gras Indians, fishermen, and more. So people of all ages can immerse themselves in and learn from our cherished heritage. But we need your help to make this dream a reality. To support this effort, please subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. And if you can, please become a paying monthly contributor on one of these podcast platforms or on our website, louisiane.org. Supporters will get exclusive supporter-only episodes of our interviewees in their natural environment, showing us around their hometown, teaching us how to play music, taking us out on a boat to go shrimping or crabbing, and sharing culture and experiences that you won't be able to find anywhere else. If you subscribe on our website, you will also get a La Louisiane bumper sticker and be invited to regular meetups where you'll be able to meet some of the interviewees featured in our programming, practice our French language with people like you, and immerse yourself in our culture. Louisiana is such a special place because of our community, and we hope that you join this new community that we are building together to breathe new life into our language, our culture, our people, and our home. Merci beaucoup et lâche pas. Dustin Dale Gaspard, bienvenue à la Louisiane.
Merci. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Comment ça va?
Ça va bien maintenant, mais dans Suire's Grocery.
Dans Suire's Grocery.
Yeah. Cow Island, well, Kaplan, but Cow
Right.
Island for me.
So can you tell us a little bit about what Suire's is for those who do not know?
Suire's Grocery is a monumental grocery / restaurant of old Cajun cooking and authentic living and authentic experience too.
You said, are we in Cow Island yet, technically?
Yeah, technically we're on like outskirts of the city limits of Kaplan. I think it's a Kaplan address, but we are Cow Island.
Yeah, right. Because there's no Cow Island addresses, right? It's just
Correct.
Cow. Okay, cool.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so Cow Island. I first became familiar with Cow Island with the Babineau sisters.
Yeah.
And so
Right down the road. Right down.
So like your neighbors a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so, but obviously that was crazy. Come like a full circle moment is then hearing you say the word Cow Island on national television. And so, what is Cow Island? Like, what is life like there? What kind of community is it?
Cow Island's like the in my opinion, it's like the capital of Vermilion Parish. You know, you have it's pretty much a central location. It's not too far from Maurice. It's not too far from Pecan Island, and you know, it's all sprawling rice fields and cane fields, pasture, and wetlands on the outskirts of that. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful place in all of Louisiana, in my opinion.
It's definitely the rolling fields is something that's so unique down here when you come to Vermilion.
Yeah.
Because it's a coastal parish, obviously, but it's different than like the bayou parishes, which are kind of like the land is more limited. You know?
Exactly, yeah. And you know, you're surrounded by like so many trees in the basin, and you're kind of a part of an ecosystem. Here, it's like everything widens, you know, and there's a lot of, I feel a lot of spiritual connection because of my connection to the marshland and the sky at the same time. It's very amazing.
Right. It's rolling, what do you call it? Rolling waves of grain, but here it's rice.
Yeah, exactly.
Or crawfish ponds.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so then is it, okay, so this is something that's always confused me. Is Cow Island actually an island?
So a lot of the places down here are called islands, You know, there's Pecan Island, even Avery Island here. But all what they're getting at is their cheniers, which are just high raises of land throughout low-lying marshland. And usually when it does flood, especially back in the day before the irrigation took place for all the rural agriculture foundation, everything that would flood would be completely underwater, maybe a couple feet, but the high ridges would stay above, so that's why they called them islands. And so yeah, I mean, it's super, like, not an island typical beachy place, but it's Cajun Island for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because the chenier, that's a French word, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's funny it's interesting how it's like so integrated into the culture. And so one thing that's interesting is like Vermilion Parish, which is obviously the parish we're in, is brands itself as the most Cajun place in the world. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that is an accurate description?
Oh, depending on your definition of Cajun, I think as far as traditional Cajun means go, yes, for sure. There's a relationship with the land. There's a prominence based on family and tradition here. There's, of course, like amazing artists and musicianship from out here. And I think all those things are fundamental. But I like to divide like the most Cajun places into 3 sections. There's your prairie Cajuns out in Eunice. They're like your cowboy Cajuns. They're your Jordan Thibodeaus. Then you have your basin Cajuns or your swamp Cajuns that all stay out in the Atchafalaya area. You know, that's all the swamp people that you see on there. And then your marsh Cajuns, which is like my family, who are all sailors. And I say sailors, you know, they're all boatsmen, and they fish and they hunt from the boat. They spend a lot of time on the water, which is, I think, mostly akin to the Acadian heritage that we took place. And so if it's the most Cajun place, I think it's because there's a lot of things we kept the same from Acadie.
Right. Definitely. There are definitely those nuances. The marsh Cajun, that's a new one for me. Because I know the prairie Cajun versus bayou Cajun dynamic.
Yeah, totally different. Right?
Yeah, right. But the marsh, that's so that's like Southwest, Vermilion.
Yeah, exactly.
Would we include Cameron in that?
Yeah, you could, absolutely.
Or the most Cajun, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's like there was some study that showed the percentage of French speakers per parish. And I think when they did this, probably like in the 70s or the 80s, Vermilion was at the top. And so I think like the tourism commission was like, okay, we're running with it.
Yeah, run with it. That would totally make sense. And you know, not so much these days. A lot of people are just, you know, passing away from old age, and tradition hasn't really kept itself going. But anybody that was over the age of 50 when I was a child, they all spoke French. It was majoritarily French, you know. If they had to speak English, they would. But my grandmother would always have coffee talks where they would drink a pot, and then there'd be 10 of her friends just like blaring French language. And I'm sitting in between just trying to follow along with what was happening. Luckily, they talk Cajun stock with their hands, so you know I was able to get through a little bit of conversation.
And so, what was that dynamic growing up? Like, were you aware that was unique, or did you just take it for granted, or?
I certainly didn't take it for granted, but I mean, a lot of people in Vermilion Parish never leave Vermilion Parish, and I think that it's because we have everything we need, and we appreciate the humble living, and you know, we want to keep our faith and our culture and our livelihood within our community. So I didn't take it for granted. I just thought that there was no other way. I mean, when I went to the Walmart in Abbeville, when they opened up a Walmart, I thought that was like New York City.
Right.
You know, and I'm not even kidding. It really blew me away. And you know, the normal, my definition of normal was just a lot different than of other people.
Better late than never, and we'll get to that, how you reconnected with your French. But with the way of life down here, and we talked about crawfish farming, in your family, what were people doing? Did you guys have a lot of, you said boat people, crawfish farmers, what kind of stuff were they up to?
On my father's side, they dealt a lot with the rice field and the rice industry. There was a big rice plant out in Kaplan for a long time, and the railway used to go in between there, so the industry was booming. And then on my dad's side, on my mother's side, it was an emphasis on nature and fur trapping and a lot of things that my grandfather had came up on, and then when he started working for the Audubon Wildlife Society, that was really prominent. Growing up in the marshland, out on Cheniere's, way out in the middle of the marsh, that was always such a beautiful thing to experience.
Yeah, that's that's definitely something that we've heard a lot on a lot of the interviews that we've done. We went to Rougarou Fest this weekend, and a lot of the trapping thing I feel like is something that if you're not from a rural community in South Louisiana, you might not be aware of, because fishing is still, and crawfishing, et cetera, is still very prominent. But trapping seems like it was a big livelihood throughout
Oh
the
my
South.
God, it was so big. Like, that was the entire livelihood of my mother's side of the family. And it's funny because they did things the exact same way. I mean, of course, the advancements of technology and certain traps and things like that, but they did the same exact thing that the Acadians were doing. And they kept all the ways of how to bait and how to fish, all those things. They kept it all the same for a couple hundred years, you know? So
Like the early French explorers. And
yes,
everything.
exactly.
Okay, so on The Voice, Snoop said, I think it was I think it was when you did the 4-chair turn. He's mentioned something. He said, I didn't know about this, but he said, I've got cousins that live in Mississippi and Louisiana that wrestle alligators. And so I thought that was a funny term that he said. Do you have alligator hunters in the family? Did you wrestle alligators growing up?
That's what's happening right now. It's alligator season. So that'll finish at the end of October. And that's a huge industry. My Uncle Pete, who was my grandfather's brother, he ran alligator farms, and the farming of alligators is a whole big thing. When I tell people that, they don't believe it, but you'll catch eggs, you'll hatch eggs, you'll grow gators, you'll release them, then you go kill bigger gators, and you keep that process going like you would any other industry. So yeah, I mean, I've gone on alligator hunts a lot when I was a kid. I was out there all the time. Every alligator season, it was my favorite thing to do. And, life just kind of takes place. And after Hurricane Rita, I didn't spend as much time out in the marsh and going through high school and stuff like that, so I never really got to live my adult life. I'm trying to get to a place in my music career to where I can just go back to the old ways of my aunts and uncles and stuff like that. I think that would be so awesome. My path through it was never the typical direction, though. It's been this discovery of music and trying to write songs and hopefully tell the story correctly, because that's kind of what I thought I had to offer the world.
Right. And so speaking of, your music career, when did music begin to become a key part of your life? When did you get started with music as a kid?
I started playing and dabbling with a guitar when I was 17, and a buddy of mine wanted me to sing in his band, and I thought it would be fun, just as an experience. I saw them playing music one day and said, oh, damn, that looks awesome. And there was just something about that I said, I like melody and I appreciate music. Nobody in my family is musicians, but I was always very rhythmic. Everybody loves to dance. I love old soul and swamp pop and Cajun traditional music. So I started exploring the avenue of that when I was 17 and had an old beat up guitar. Eventually my father bought me one, and it was off to the races from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I remember the harmonica in your audition was
Oh yeah, thanks.
was awesome and got some nice reactions from the judges.
People really, really love that. And all of these things, I say I play these instruments. I make noise with them. I want to be clear on that. If someone asks me to do certain things, hey, play this chord, move to this, that's no, I've been discovering this for the entire time, and I do not consider myself a musician, but I make some racket and people like it.
There's a funny meme about this from some interview where, anyway, that's just a funny thing where someone was like, there's an interviewer who's asking someone if she's a musician, and she said, no, I'm not a musician, I don't do magic. But so
I've seen this.
You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen this.
It's a Bobby Altoff interview.
Yeah, that is pretty insane.
So I guess do you do magic? But
Well, yeah, I am a magician musician.
Right.
Because I don't know how it's happening, but it is, and people are wild by it. And I said, hey, anybody can, here, you take it and see what happens. Just don't have a job for 6 months and do it for 15 years, and something's going to sound all right.
Right. You got to will it into existence. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what your life was like before. Obviously, more recently, everything has blown up, and the Voice is a huge part of that. But one time, one of the first times we kind of hung out was you were going across the country. I can't remember where. and you needed somewhere to put maybe you were going to Canada already, but you needed to somewhere to like keep your van, and so you parked your van in New Orleans.
Where was I going for that, Will? Yeah, I've lived very transiently, but I've always felt that way. Like, I mean, in some way, my parents' divorce allowed me to say, oh, okay, well, nothing's ever going to be a steady spot. And there's going to be a lot of moving around, going from house to house and stuff. So I thought that is just it's kind of a fun way to live, you know? It's like, it's a gypsy. I don't really have overhead responsibilities, and I just pop up in places. So what I'm getting at is thanks for letting me stay on your couch.
Anytime.
And keep my car there. I can't remember why I was going. Oh, I was staying in New York at the time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I had left for a tour to go to Asheville in North Carolina, and then I flew to New York, and I did like a month of dates back and forth through all those things. So yeah, I mean, that happens, I can't tell you how many times, until I got brave enough to just start driving places.
And the crazy thing is it wasn't that long ago, you know what I mean? Like when you were living that lifestyle, so to speak. And so can you tell us, were there any funny stories?
I'm sure there's some that I'm not thinking of right on the top of my head, but what I remember the most is just like the freedom. Like, that's the American dream that nobody tells you about. It's like, hey, if you want to get in a car and just go, you can. And if you're willing to take the risk, like this might break down. I don't know if I've ever thought about any of those things. I just said, let's take it as far as it'll go. And last summer, I lived in a national park for like a month, and I showered in a waterfall and just wrote songs, and it was really, really... Like, everyone needs to do that. People need to be able to experience that, see the countryside. What I noticed is, like, meeting all rural communities, everyone is exactly the same. Like, everyone has all the same loves and appreciation, and everyone has all the same complaints. And I think if we all traveled a little more, especially to those type of communities, we would learn so much about the country and us as people in general.
Definitely. And so a key part of, one thing that makes us different, though, I agree with what you're saying totally about the rural communities, but the funny thing here in Louisiana is the French aspect of it, too, where it's like you'll drive around and things look kind of similar sometimes, depending on where you are, and then people that might in another place be obviously speaking English with like a deep Southern accent have like a very vocal accent and or speak French fluently. And so for you, last summer you went to Canada, but I know that was like a long process for you of kind of deciding you wanted to reconnect with the language. And so why did you decide it was important for you to kind of brush up and relearn French?
My journey with the language began in 2019. I mean, I always had like such reverence for it, from it coming from my grandparents, of course. But what they were teaching my parents and also me was that they never lived long enough to see it. I mean, now it's really becoming super prominent and relevant and so beneficial to life and things that you can access. So they were always taught that it's not going to benefit you at all. And if anything, it was just like this novelty aspect of who they are. But who you are as a Cajun isn't really dictated if you can speak French. The lifestyle is the way. The music is the way, the food is the way, the language isn't the only way. And with everything else in life going on, it's so hard to get yourself to a place to be able to appropriately internalize, you know how it goes. Speaking in a different language, you have to rewire your entire brain. And so in 2019, I met a group of girls from the Moncton Maritime area called Lehe Babies, and they're a girl band. And I was on the porch of the Blue Moon with Vivian, one of the singers, and she told me, you know, there's a bunch of people in Canada that still speak like a very similar dialect of French to what your grandparents speak. And she told me the reason because of that was because there was a lot of Acadians that during exile just went run and hide in the woods, essentially, and stayed there until it was safe, and then they came back out and spoke more English and tried to assimilate. So that just got me thinking, like, what else don't I know about this language? And then where would my life be had I known there were peers and like my friends that were so transitional in between these worlds. And the girls were that for me. They just showed me that like French doesn't have to be traditional in any regard, and it can be very progressive. And I started from that day trying to find a way to make music my career that way, because I knew that it was the most transient way of living, and I can get around through places the most, but discover my heritage and promote my heritage. That was just going to have to incrementally come along the way. And that took me all the way to St. Anne in Nova Scotia.
So what was St. Anne about? So that's very interesting. So it's a whole immersion experience. And so what was that like, and what did it entail?
St. Anne is the most amazing immersion school. People think that it's a cult, and in some ways, I'm glad that it is, because there needs to be this believability among everyone that you're going to be safe. This is a safe place for you to discover something in this rewiring of what you have to learn. And that's how I always felt about it. I was surrounded by people that were on the same sphere of like, I don't know what I'm doing. We were essentially transitioned back to the Stone Age because we couldn't use the English language, and we only had literally a handful of words that we could say. So it was sign language, and also I think kind of why Cajuns talk with their hands, because there's so many different accents and words for certain things that if you're communicating, you want to be able to tell the story and get through what you're trying to receive and communicate in that way. So we did a lot of that at St. Anne in the very beginning, and then slowly began to learn the French language, not in the way that a lot of Cajuns know it, but in a way that started to rework some of these pathways for me to connect and understand how to speak in a different language. Hey, let's get a picture. Can we get a picture?
Photo. Oh. No, exactly. So
St. Anne.
St. Anne. Yeah. Okay. So, but you just to explain to people. So you went to Nova Scotia. Mm-hmm. This is a program where it's at a university in Nova Scotia, an Acadian university. People from all over, but especially from Louisiana, go there for 6 weeks, 4 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
6 weeks.
Yep, 6 weeks.
So you're living in the middle of nowhere in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, which is just like here.
Right.
There should be an immersion program here.
We should, yes, definitely.
If we can get to that place. It was so inspiring, just to see so many people, like, they were really, you have to be willing to be vulnerable and then also, like, really look goofy and understand that trust in other people to help guide you through this process. Because learning a different language is just the absolute hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And it was so amazing. Like, getting a B on a test was better than any accolade that I've ever received, So I can't wait to go back. And Codafil, I'm looking right at that camera. Please let me go back to St. Anne, please.
Good promo opportunity for Louisiana and for the Louisiana French movement. So it seems like that's doable. And so the funny thing is, it occurred to me, I was rewatching your audition last night, and there's like a Canadian connection.
Yeah.
Because Michael Bublé.
It's Michael Bublé.
Were you ready for that, or did you expect it?
I had told them that I was going to pick Michael because of all those reasons. And I didn't think that he's actually way better at speaking Spanish than he is at speaking French.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a really fluid Spanish speaker.
What's up, Canada? We're sleeping.
Yeah. and Bublé was just, I was originally going to choose him because of that connection, and something else happened while we were up there, and I felt compelled to choose another coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because he's not Acadian or Quebecois, right? He's from, I
think, Saskatchewan.
Okay, cool. But it's just even the Canadians, they're all pretty good at French.
Yeah.
Which is something we could definitely learn from them.
Yeah, I know. Like the bilingual nature of so many people. I've met so many people that are the better of French speakers that I know, and it's so far out of their existence that it's like, oh yeah, I got to get around somehow.
Right.
Which is cool.
Totally. And so I think, that was a huge aspect of your performance on the show was just that you decided to sing partially in Cajun French. And so what was that thought process like?
Well, it was actually my entire goal for the whole show. It was not about getting on there and getting the chair turn or getting popularity. It was about promoting. It was my journey with this whole process. This is to show a younger generation, my generation, and other people that French, the Cajun French language, it goes beyond the traditional stuff, the traditional music that your grandparents listened to. And what's happening, what I'm experiencing and seeing experienced through other people around my age, there's nothing that is connecting that bridge. And what I'm trying to do is make music that exists in that boundary and says, oh, you like this country song? Look, I'm singing it in our native language. Or you like this soul song? And that was my goal with having a translated verse on the show, which was to inspire people just to say, oh, wow, my language, the language of my grandparents is also mine, and I can explore it in a different way than beyond the means that we're used to. So that's why I wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think it was really powerful, and then especially in the kind of pre-segment, you said something along the lines like "Quand je chante en français, j'écris l'histoire de mon peuple."
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
What did that mean to you?
Well, that's in a song that I wrote, which is it's called "Travailler," and it's all about working hard and exploring the nature of the language, and trying to reconnect myself, but also bring other people along the way. And I think it's really true because, you know, we're writing our history as we live our lives, whatever dense poetic way you want to make that. But if I'm writing this song in French, then I'm kind of setting my destiny up for how I want it to be. And I want it to be immersed within the language of my ancestors. And I want to move that forward.
Totally. Yeah, I think there's an expression about like the language is the heart of the people, and I think it's powerful. Even not everyone, you know, we can't speak French, but speaking any French is still, and however we do it, it's still our connection to who we are as a people.
And you know, there's just a subconscious connection that has to be internalized, where when you start speaking a different language with someone, there's this shared internal experience, and I feel like you're connecting from the heart first, especially with the Cajun French language. Then you are just listening to the words. It's coming from like a soulful place, and it really. I think if we could all just dabble a little bit more in it, we would be able to realize that we have something special here that is beyond our ancestry and our blood. It's beyond all that. It's like our humanity and our existence. It's really cool.
Our culture and what we share together. And so you got the 4-chair turn, which was that a shock to you, a surprise, or?
My God, the biggest shock in the world. I couldn't believe and sing the French verse. Even when I got to the end of the French verse, I had to realize and tell myself, hey, this isn't over. You can't, like, the song's not over. You got to finish it up and go off there. So when I sang in French, as soon as I started singing in French, I started to tear up, and then I saw a big light, and all the emotions that I was dissociating myself from to be a part of this extremely nerve-wracking moment in my life, they all just came flooded back in, and I just heard myself like, wow, we did it. And this big, I'm not even kidding, there's this big light, and I'm just staring at it, thinking it's above the chairs, and I'm like, wow, okay, well, what's next? Like, where does my life go? Because all my dreams have all come true. And then I, like, blinked the tears away, and it was all the chairs turning around. It's like, and I looked at my mom and swore, said a loud curse word, like, what is happening? She's like, oh, no, I'm freaking out. It was a really amazing moment. That was the most surprised I've ever been in my life. It was so nice to hear from all of them. Snoop Dogg came up to me after. He dapped me up. He said, welcome to the show, Playboy. And I was like, okay, well, I'm done. I can quit this now, you know.
I'm a Playboy, according to Snoop Dogg. Okay, well, I kind of have a question related to that, but first, the Ireland, I don't know why I said it like that. Ireland connection is interesting because you said, so do you have some Irish like ancestry too? Okay, cool.
Also, I don't know why I never thought, like in the moment when I was talking to Niall, I realized, man, the Irish people and Cajun people have so much crossover that it just made sense for me to go in that direction. And having him talk to me and then thinking about my boys up there. Shout out Brian, Mark, and Rob, they brought me out on tour for a little while years ago, but it just all made sense for me to kind of reconnect with my Irish roots.
Right, I love that. And well, I noticed what was interesting is that in the battle round, then you sang a Hozier song.
Yeah, how crazy was that?
Which was awesome.
Yeah, Irish fella himself.
And then I don't know if you know about this, but I just found about this recently. He has a chanson de Mardi Gras.
Amazing. So good, right?
So good.
It's so killer. Like he really, the whole a cappella group and the haunting mystery of it all. I love that version so much.
And so it was just like, I was like, wow, this star from Ireland did something in our language. And so would you ever do a collab with Hozier on a...
Oh my gosh, I'd do it right now. He can come take me and I'll pay him money.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. He's been one of my inspirations and idols forever. I have so many inspirations from Ireland, like Van Morrison's from out there, of course Niall's from out there, Hozier, a songwriter named Foy Vance, the boys. It's just like I love all the music that comes out of there because, like I said, it had so much crossover. Fiddle reels, some of them are inspired all these Acadian tunes that we now hear in Cajun music, and to reconnect that and. It's this very, very deep ancestral kind of longing when it comes to making that type of music. And I mean, I hear that in Hozier's stuff. So.
Right. And I think the language connection, too, he's all about revitalizing the Irish language.
Yeah, the Gaelic language.
Exactly. You're all about Louisiana French revitalization.
The language, the music, the food.
I totally thought that. And so, yeah, Niall, set that up, please. No, I'm just joking. Because I think
Niall,
the people do that.
He and I did talk, and he said he was going to put me on the right track. So, I mean... I'm not holding my breath, man. I know that you're a famous boy band, dude, but you're also a really cool person and have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen on a man.
And, I mean, Ireland's not that big of an island. You know what I'm saying? You can find them somewhere.
It's an island. I'm from an island. Come on.
No, totally. It's meant to be. And so speaking of looks, okay, I have to ask you. So in the battle round, you're in a vest, which brought up some interesting conversations. And so... was that a strategic choice on your part to bring out the vest?
Well, this is the thing. I'm from Louisiana. It's hot as hell, okay? I also exercise a decent amount, especially when I don't have anything else to do. So shirts usually do not fit. I requested I would love to wear a vest. Didn't say where, didn't say when, didn't say I had to be completely sleeveless, but they... we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna lean into the vest idea. He came out and he had that really nice suit on. And he looked at me and he said, are you joking? He said, they make me look like Black Mr. Rogers. And then you come out and you're looking like Cajun Aladdin with your arms out. He's like, everybody's just gonna talk about your arms. And I said, dude, I don't think that's gonna happen. Lo and behold, the first thing that comes out of Michael Bublé's mouth is talking about my muscles.
Yeah, right. Flirting with Michael Bublé was not on your bingo card, I guess.
Not this year, no. Michael Bublé, you're coming down here.
Right.
We're going to put some gumbo in his belly. And we'll do some arm exercises, maybe take him to LA CrossFit or something.
Yeah, Cow Island Boot Camp. Gumbo, chest press.
Yeah.
Learn how to play the triangle.
Load that spoon up, baby.
That was really funny. And so what is for those who are trying not to just be a musician but get those great arms, what is your workout routine?
Carry all your gear. Don't hire anyone. Just load up those speakers.
Yeah, because you're like a late night gym goer, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Usually after every show, 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning. Musician lifestyle, baby.
In the gym. So then I also want to ask you I feel like you have a unique fashion sense. Mm-hmm. And so how did you acquire it? I feel like you're very colorful. You like to do some layers and stuff like that. The hats, of course.
I always wanted to do something that was me, and I got so much flack for it for so long. But once again, I know I keep referencing them, but once I met the girls, the Hey Babies, they were just like, do whatever the hell you want. And they supported me so much on all of this journey that I said, oh yeah, if I'm around you guys, I don't care what anybody else thinks, because I'm with like people that hear me, love me, respect me. And I just started dressing how I wanted to, you know, big leg pants, high waist. I always like, you know, being sleeveless just because it is so hot down here for real. Yeah.
Cajun Musketeer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, I want to be Peter Pan, you know, grounded a little more, but you know, I don't want to grow up in all the wrong ways. I want to be Aladdin. I want to be the Cajun version of all those things. And a musketeer, there had to be one in my family some way.
Well, that's French. I mean, they're French originally, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
Musketeer, yeah. Okay, cool. And so then one of the funny things was in your little promo thing, what does green as a gator mean to you?
Oh my God. I knew this was going to happen. They made me say this. Hollywood made me say this. And it means absolutely nothing to me, you know. It was so fun. And as soon as I did it and they told me what to say, I said, oh, this is going to be a meme. I am going to get reamed out for this all over. And you're actually the first person to bring it up, so that's pretty funny. I'm sure there's text threads that are just like...
We need to do a shirt, like green as a gator.
Well, you know what? I honestly thought there was going to be cross-promotion with Snoop Dogg, where he was, like, potentially holding some, you know, some new strand that he has, that it's also green as a gator, you know? And maybe that would have been... Snoop Dogg, holler at me for that.
Yeah, and your cousins can wear it to go wrestle gators in Mississippi too. I'm interested in that side of it. Okay, cool. And so then obviously I imagine this has changed your life, being on The Voice. And so what have these past few weeks been like for you?
Oh, I feel like a beetle. I can't go to the grocery store without like getting stopped for pictures, which is like so cool. People feel so seen, and I think this giant spotlight that's coming down, I'm trying my hardest to be like, okay, you're looking at this and everyone's focusing so hard, to just pull people in front of me and say, this is the real person down here that you should talk to. Or this is who's been inspiring me. This is somebody that's also on this journey. That's how it's been changing in all those ways. I mean, of course, I didn't expect such support for it. Like, people really feel represented, and I hope that I can just do my best job to say, to be in gratitude to all these people, but to also, like I said, just keep showing who are all the people that matters, the places that matter.
You're bringing a spotlight, not just to yourself and your work and your music, but to Vermilion, Cow Island, Louisiana, the Cajun French language, the fight to keep our culture alive and all of that. And so I thought it was really fascinating. I guess this past weekend at the Rice Festival, you played with Wayne Tubes.
Yeah.
Cajun legend meeting Cajun legend.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Wow. You know, I think we saw for Congrès Mondial, you were at Congrès Mondial, when Zachary had performed with Jordan. That was like a passing of the torch moment. And Wayne's not ready to give up his torch yet. And rightfully so. I don't think I'm prepared to fill those shoes. But I hope that one day, within the realm of which he exists, that I can fill some type of void when he's ready to hang up the boots. And I felt like performing with him was a moment of a lifetime for me, and I'm so grateful for him.
Yeah, that was iconic. We're supposed to interview Wayne soon, actually.
Okay, I hope that goes. Yeah, let me know.
How's his French?
That's a great question. I don't know if he prefers to speak it at all. He's kind of like me.
Yeah,
which is
right.
why I feel so, you know, je peux pas parler en français, mais je chante en français, j'écris en français. I need to go back to St. Anne. I need to live in Canada and just really dip myself in it for a longer period of time.
Totally immersion. Mais tu peux parler français quand même, moi je pense.
No,
yeah.
no.
Oui. Okay, so lightning round to finish out. So what is the best po' boy for you? Favorite po' boy?
Old time.
Okay. And then what on it?
Everything. It's the special.
Oh, so what does that entail? Everything?
Lettuce, tomato, mustard, all the meats, turkey, ham, roast beef. I think roast beef's on it. I don't even know. It tastes amazing.
It's just delicious.
And make it sloppy, you know.
Sloppy, okay.
Yeah.
Old time, sloppy, everything. Favorite Louisiana festival?
Oh my God. Cow Island Live. happening this year, November 15th.
Cow Island Live. Top Louisiana musical inspiration.
Wayne Tubes.
Wayne Tubes. Top outside of Louisiana musical inspiration.
Ooh. Otis Redding.
Good one. Otis Redding. Best boudin shop.
That's gonna have to go to Best Stop Smoke Boudin.
Favorite Louisiana French word.
I want to say something prolific, but it's not gonna happen. I think it's just travailler.
Travailler. Most hidden gem small town in Louisiana.
Oh, Cow Island, Louisiana.
Cow Island. Best Cajun Creole classic song.
I'm not Suire on Lyon.
Favorite venue in the New Orleans area.
Howlin' Wolf.
Oh, Howlin' Wolf, you were there
Yeah.
this past weekend, right? Rice farming versus sugarcane farming. Choose one.
Bruh, man. Rice is, they're both so beautiful. One's kind of like wheat, one's kind of like corn. I'm going to be a diabetic, so we got to go sugarcane.
Okay, good. Shout out Lafourche, Terrebonne, New Iberia,
Yeah.
etc.
Hey, here, 335.
Oh yeah, totally. Okay, alligator hunting or frogging?
Oh, man. Frogging is so much fun. Catching them with your hands is such a blast, and it's so much easier. But gator hunting, you get to work with dinosaurs. So, yeah, gator hunting all day.
Snoop, you gotta come.
Yeah.
Okay, crabbing or shrimping?
Crabbing.
Crabbing.
Yeah.
Y'all got crab traps out here?
Oh, my God. No, you just throw the chicken leg out there and you slowly pull it in.
Totally. St. Martin Parish or St. Landry Parish?
St. Martin Parish.
St. Martin.
Yeah.
Heavy basin.
Heavy basin. The lake.
Yep.
I love the lake.
Yep. Gumbo or jambalaya?
Gumbo.
Gumbo.
Yeah. All
Gumbo
day.
always. And then finally, what is next for you on The Voice? What's coming in the next few weeks?
In the next few weeks that have not been filmed yet, you can expect a return to form. My coach has asked me to do some very specific things. And you can expect me to give it all I got in the way that I got it. Yeah.
Speaking in parables. I love it. And then what's next for you after The Voice?
I don't
What's
know.
in store in the
Please,
future?
good God, I need a booking agent. And I want to tour until I'm like dead. So put me on the road. I would love to play more festivals and potentially release. I know for sure, guaranteed no matter what, my next bilingual folk record, Avec le Coudon, will be coming out. That it should be in the springtime, March or April.
Bilingual.
That is, sponsored by I won a grant by the ACA, New Music USA, a lot of funders and support. I have a long way to go left. I'm probably about 70% done. But with all this process now, I'm hoping to raise more funds and write more songs for the album.
En français aussi.
Oui.
Cool. Well, merci beaucoup. This was awesome. You've
you.
really made me and us so proud, honestly. I think it was historic. I mean, it is historic what you did because in addition to not only being the first person to sing on Cajun French on The Voice, I think it's probably like on any major music show, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of firsts. And first four-chair turn from Louisiana, first making Cajun history, making history on The Voice, first person to play harmonica and sing at the same time. It was, I thought it was just me doing what I do, but it was, people really took to it, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Thanks.
It's great when people love you for who you are, exactly. And
Didn't have to change a thing. It just took 15 years.
just a boy from the marsh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, merci beaucoup. This was really an honor.
Thank you, Will.
And excited to hopefully explore Vermilion a bit with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, allons.
Allons.